Welcome to Fan Fave with Katrina. Fan Fave with Katrina. It's time to talk pop culture.
It's a great day because you're listening to Fan Fave. I'm Katrina and we have a lot to talk about today. First, let's do a quick pop recap of all the great pop culture things that I have not been able to stop talking about since the last time I spoke to you all on this podcast. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever was released over the weekend, and to me, it's the best movie of Marvel Studios' Phase 4. I just want to give some quick spoiler-free thoughts. The film honors Chadwick Boseman in a touching and graceful way. The movie really centers around grief, growth, and staying true to your values. There were great performances from this cast all around, especially from Letitia Wright. Namor was a fantastic villain, and I absolutely loved Riri Williams. I cannot wait to see the Ironheart series. There's also some interesting cameos in this movie that I won't spoil, but I will say I was absolutely not expecting. I don't want to say too much though, so I'll wait and maybe we can talk more with spoilers a little later. But for now, let me know what you thought about Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I want to hear from you. I also got to check out the new Steven Spielberg movie, The Fabelmans, this weekend, and it was absolutely fantastic. One of my favorite new movies of the year. It tells the story and journey of a young boy and his love for filmmaking, and it's actually based on Spielberg's life. I loved every moment of watching this movie. It comes out in a wide release Thanksgiving weekend, and I recommend that you all go see it. I've also been to a few Broadway shows since we last spoke. Beetlejuice, Kimberly Akimbo. You can head to Fan Fave Media on all social media platforms to hear about my experience and thoughts on these shows. Now, let's get into the topic of today. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever marked the end of Marvel Studios Phase 4, so I thought it was the perfect time to check in with Marvel fans and how they are feeling with this fresh phase of the franchise post-Endgame. This is the second edition of the Fan Fave Fandom Spotlight, Marvel Cinematic Universe Edition. Let's hop into a fan panel and hear their thoughts.
Hi, I'm Shakara. Before I saw that movie, I of course knew about the MCU and it was all connected, and that just kind of threw me sideways because I don't have time to sit through days and days of movies to catch up. But after I saw Black Panther, I was like, I'm gonna sit through days and days of movies to catch up, I guess. I don't have a choice. And I was hooked ever since.
Hi, I'm Toomey. What got me into Marvel was that my friend mentioned going to see Guardians of the Galaxy, and I was like, that looks stupid. But then somehow, FOMO kind of hit, and then I was like, okay, you know what? I will go see it. And it was really good. And then I went back and I watched all the other movies, and I'd watched Captain America, but I don't know, 12-year-old me's brain wasn't processing how good the rest of the stories would be.
Yeah, for me, I didn't really get into it until really late because I like the Spider-Man movies, but I didn't get invested until Infinity War, after it came out when there was such a shift and everybody was talking about all the characters that got dusted away, and I was like, let me go back and see so I can understand the significance of this. And then I started watching all of them. Do you have a favorite Marvel character? Which ones and why?
Okay, off the top of my head, I want to say Doctor Strange. Hear me out. Uh-oh, don't fight me. I I find myself doing his hand motions, him and Wanda. I don't know, maybe it's the actress in me, but those hand motions are really cool and their powers are really, really cool. To see them in the same movie was kind of crazy. But interacting a lot in Multiverse of Madness, but I feel like his character is like Tony's character without the character development. So personality wise, he's still very arrogant and can be troublesome at times, but I feel like his powers, and I don't know, I like his voice too, which is weird because it's definitely not his actual voice, but I don't know, I'm gonna say Doctor Strange.
Emphasis on him having no character development because I really do not like Doctor Strange. He just always ruins the storylines for my favorite characters because he does something dumb.
I definitely relate to the Doctor Strange slander. Not to come for your favorite character, but yeah. My favorite is probably Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. I feel like that's a lot of people's favorites, and I was like, I wish I could say someone else, but he just, I don't know, his character is so complex. He goes through so much, and the metal arm is also kind of hot. He's got everything going on. But a new favorite is Kate Bishop. She's just silly and she's just having a good time. And I appreciate that. But yeah.
I would say my favorite character is Ant-Man because he's so lighthearted and funny and goofy. Like all of his movies are so unserious, but he's like really fun. And then I would also say Wanda just because like it's kind of funny watching how crazy she is. Like she doesn't even realize it, and she's also like one of the most powerful characters. My next question is, what are your favorite Marvel movies? And you can like say multiple if you have multiple.
I definitely want to say Winter Soldier. That's the first one that pops into my head. I don't know. I just feel like I find myself out of all like the Captain America movies, I find myself watching that one, rewatching that one the most. Obviously, I really liked the first Doctor Strange. The second Doctor Strange was also good, but I don't think I would rewatch that as much. I feel like the first Doctor Strange has become somewhat of a comfort movie for me, oddly enough, which doesn't make any sense, but it just happened. But I think those two, like popping out of my head right now. And then Infinity War is also a good rewatch because I feel like you watch it and you notice something different every time.
I definitely agree. The Winter Soldier is just, it's such a good movie. And that's like my comfort Marvel movie. I'm having a bad day. You know what? I'm going to pop on the Winter Soldier. It's going to be a great time. Um, Controversially enough, I am like the biggest Eternals fan. Like I saw it in the movie theater 5 times. Biggest Eternals fan. I just really like the storyline, and I think like the actors are just insane. They just brought like some of my favorite actors and they put them in a movie together. Like, of course, I was gonna like it. And then I really like Age of Ultron. I think it's because it's kind of like the segue from the first Avengers to Infinity War, where they're all kind of like hanging out and they're working together, and you actually get to see like them develop a bond. And I really like that. Also, we got introduced to like some of the best characters. So those are my top 3 probably.
I would say that my favorite is actually a different Captain America movie. It's Civil War because like all of my favorite characters are in it. Like it has like the introduction of like Spider-Man. It's like really iconic. Like I wish I could have seen that in the theaters. And then also No Way Home. I don't know if that fully counts as like a Marvel movie because it's like half and half, but that was like bringing back Toby and Andrew was like the best thing ever. And then Infinity War I liked a lot more than Endgame. And Thor Ragnarok is probably my comfort Marvel movie, just because like all the jokes always land for me. It's just really funny.
I don't know how I didn't think about Ragnarok. I have like 3 Thor shirts, and I don't know how I didn't think about that one, but add that one to my list too, because
I feel like it's such a popular one.
yeah, I'm crazy. I don't know why I didn't say that first. What the heck? I feel like Love and Thunder is good too. I haven't rewatched it since I watched it like in theaters. That's a lie. I definitely did. LOL. Um, but I feel like it definitely the humor is there, but it hits more in Ragnarok than Love and Thunder.
Yeah, Love and Thunder doesn't have as much rewatch value to me as Ragnarok does.
Yeah, it's like even though I know what's gonna happen, like I'm still gonna act surprised.
But in general, what are your thoughts on like the entire like phase 4, like post Endgame? Because it seems like they're trying to almost like replace certain characters with like Sam becoming Captain America now and like Kate Bishop and Hawkeye and like they're building out the Young Avengers. So like do you like the new characters that they're introducing or are you getting like Marvel fatigue with all of the new stuff that's coming out? Because it's like back to back shows now.
Yeah, I wouldn't say fatigue, but it's definitely so much more than like all of the other phases combined of like there's just so much and I feel like if you don't have Disney Plus by now, like you are absolutely screwed. Um and someone said like before Multiverse of Madness came out, like, oh, you don't have to like watch the shows, like they're just optional. They are definitely mandatory because if you did not see WandaVision and then you saw like the next time you saw Wanda was in Doctor Strange, like confusion would happen for sure because you wouldn't understand like the whole backstory with their kids and everything. So I feel like the shows are definitely letting them take a moment to break down characters more. And I like that about the shows. Like we got to see Sam go home to his family and his nephews and, you know, be Uncle Sam, which was hilarious. And Bucky coming home with him, you know, so we got to see them form a bond, which is something we don't get all the time in the movies, which I liked what you said about Age of Ultron, about them like having time to like bond and us seeing that, because I think that's important too. But it's definitely a lot to take in all at once. But also, every time a show ends, I'm sad. And I wish there was something like the next day. So I feel like half and half. It's like half like rush kind of production and half like give me more. So I'm kind of split on if it's too much or if it's not enough or too little. But I definitely think that they're going in a good direction. I'm just not sure what direction that should be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying, like the whole half and half thing, because I'm definitely the person who remember when I finished Loki, I was like, what do I do with my life now? Time for me to like rewatch something else. Because like I just constantly crave Marvel content. So I'm glad that they're releasing things, like a lot of things, but sometimes it feels too fast. Like sometimes I need to process what happened before they drop something new. Um, so it's a lot being thrown at us, but I do enjoy what is being thrown at us. I do really like the new characters like Kate Bishop. I love Kate Bishop and I love Yelena Belova. And, you know, I like all the new characters. I'm very excited for like Sam to be Captain America. And I really enjoy, just like this shift where like there's a lot more lead minority characters. I think especially looking back on like the early 2010 Marvel movies, you're like, wow, there's like one woman, or like two women. But you know, I really enjoy where it's going, but sometimes it feels like it's a bit rushed. And I feel like they could take time while producing it because I mean, Marvel fans will wait. We've waited before. We're always waiting whenever they delay things, so we will continue to wait.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like personally, I think I'm getting a little bit of Marvel fatigue. Like the last couple of shows I've actually struggled to finish. Like I have not still finished She-Hulk and I never finished Miss Marvel. And that's kind of like different compared to like when the first shows were coming out, like WandaVision or like The Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like I watched those like weekly, like the moment the new episode came out. And I wonder if it has to do with the fact that they're like those are characters that I knew and loved versus like new characters, so like Miss Marvel. But at the same time, I do like some of the new characters like Kate Bishop and Moon Knight. So I'm not really sure why I'm like not into the shows as much anymore. But I'm hoping that things get better because I feel like a lot of people complain that they're not like moving into like a clear direction. But personally, like I see different paths that they're like going. Like they're clearly building up the Young Avengers and stuff. So I think it's cohesive, even though like I missed the original six Avengers. But I think they're going in a direction that will still kind of build up to something big or like as big as Endgame.
Yeah, I was about to say I loved Moonlight, like loved Moonlight. And it was one of those shows where I was like, oh my gosh, like the entire week after the episode, I was like, what's going to happen next? I was like theorizing in my head, going crazy, which is kind of like what happens after the movies are over. So I felt like that felt more Marvel-esque, show wise, like so far. That and then probably Hawkeye. But I feel like it also depends, and this is just coming from me being me, but it also depends on who they're hiring because I feel like the feel of Moon Knight versus the feel of WandaVision versus like Loki, like I feel like those are my top three shows right now. And it's like who they have on production, who is in the cast. Like, are they dealing with young actors who don't have a lot of experience, or are they dealing with seasoned actors who have been here a while? So it really just depends on both sides for me because I am an actor, so I look at both sides of shows and things, which is kind of annoying sometimes because you notice some hiccups and things that could have been changed. But it definitely changes the feel of the show, which changes like the fan perception of the show. So it's like, I don't know. And it's also like, where are they going to fit these new characters in? I guess would be like the question on everyone's mind. It's like they could do so many things with these new characters that they're introducing. It's like, where are they all going to fit and how are they all going to meet and why?
No, definitely, I agree. I read an article, I think back when Thor came out, about how, like, in the last couple of Marvel movies, they've had like post-credit scenes where they've introduced like these big stars playing like upcoming Marvel characters, but we have no clue when we're gonna see them again. Like Harry Styles is in the post-credit of Eternals, and it's like, when is he gonna pop back up? What is relevant about that? And so sometimes I wonder like where they're going with that. And then I also kind of just have a little like general complaint, like in reference to like who's working on what shows. Sometimes it doesn't feel like they're connecting the way they're supposed to be. Like, I don't understand how, like, in Loki, they broke open the multiverse and no other show has addressed it, like Multiverse of Madness, No Way Home. Like, it wasn't because of that. It was because of the spell with Doctor Strange, or it was because of Wanda. Like, I don't understand where they're going with that. Like, it just doesn't feel like it's like meshing well with the whole multiverse plot.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the last, like with the Infinity Stones, it definitely like rewatching that whole saga, you can see like where they put all the Easter eggs and the every time you see Thanos, like it's building up and building up and building up to this big thing. And it's like we already have our big bad. So it's like now it's just different variants of our big bad. Like it's confusing. And it's like he showed up in Loki and now he's showing up in Ant-Man and then he's like everywhere. Like I don't know.
I know. I'm really curious how they're going to do that because then there's also Loki season 2 that comes out after Ant-Man. So what does that mean for Ant-Man? Does he defeat King or not? Like, I don't know who he's fighting. My next question is a little bit more about the shows. Like, do you have like show rankings? What's your like favorite show or like your least favorite?
Least I don't there's been so many shows. Like I definitely feel like oh my god, there's so many. I'm like blanking on names. I feel like Moon Knight, WandaVision are like my top two in terms of like I would definitely go back and rewatch, but also Loki. Oh man. I'm not sure because they all feel different. And then especially because WandaVision was like the first one out, everybody holds us that in like a different place in their heart than like the other ones because it was done so well and it just feels like one of the most thought out ones. But Moon Knight also had me on my toes, and I feel like he's a character that not a lot of people are like used to and like know very well. So being able to see his story on screen was definitely like finally kind of moment because I knew of him from the comics. But I don't know. There's so many, I feel like there's like 100 now. I also liked She-Hulk, but I also don't know where that's gonna go.
There's so many shows. So yeah, I understand like the difficulty. My ranking changes every time I rewatch a show. I'm like, well, not my bottom rankings. I feel like my bottom rankings are quite consistent, but my top rankings are the same. And then I'm also like, do we consider like non-Disney Plus ones? Because if we do, Daredevil is by far the best Marvel TV show. Like I won't even accept any other points of view. It is 100% the best. But if we are talking like solely Disney Plus, I would probably say my favorite is maybe Hawkeye, which was quite ironic because I was not excited for Hawkeye. I just don't care for his character. But then the show was just, it was so good. But then the problem is like Moon Knight is also a favorite, but those are so different. Like Hawkeye is more lighthearted and Moon Knight's like dark. And I'm like, I don't even know how to compare them. Obviously, like WandaVision is just also amazing. I feel like that's the easiest one to rewatch. Like you just have you can't have a bad time watching WandaVision. Probably also Loki is up there. I guess least favorite is probably She-Hulk. I think, I just didn't really enjoy like the fourth wall breaking, like I guess I don't, okay, so I'm not like a film or TV person, so I don't even know like the correct terminology, but like, it's not the directing of it, but like how it was produced. I don't know. It was just not my style, so I did not particularly enjoy that, but I don't know. Cause I did really like her character and I liked like the Daredevil cameo, spoiler alert. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to rank is where I'm leaving at, but Daredevil is the best. So yeah.
Yeah, I
I
definitely
agree.
agree with that. But I forgot about What If.
Mm-mm.
I think we all forgot about What If.
I
What If
didn't watch that.
I didn't
that
watch it
doesn't
either.
surprise me. That doesn't surprise me, Katrina, because you just skip around.
I do.
Hmm.
And it was animated.
I really actually really like the animation style they went with for What If, but I also feel like they could have done better ones, and I'm glad that like we're getting a season two because some of them were kind of just like lame. Like I liked the zombie episode because that actually got me thinking like, oh my God, like if someone were to get inside of Wanda's brain, like we're all dead. Um but like I don't know. I don't think I want them to do more animated things like that, but I did like it and it got me thinking like, oh yeah, what if they accidentally got T'Challa instead of like, I don't know. It's hard. I don't know. But and also Miss Marvel, like I just need the Marvels to come out because now like where did Kamala go? Like where is Captain Marvel? It's just so up in the air, the ending of that and the ending of WandaVision and now Captain Marvel. Like
Going back to your point of what if, like I think the animation style looks really great. I don't even know what's stopping me from watching it. The only episode I've seen was the zombie episode. Um, and I liked that episode. And I think the concept of the show is like amazing. There's just some barrier between me and that show, and I don't know what it is, which is ironic because I don't even think it's because it's animated because I watched the little Groot shorts and those were animated and I loved those. But those were also like 5 minutes each, so maybe that played into that. I don't know.
I think one of my biggest issues with What If is that they had some of the actors voice their characters, and then some of them were just like obviously not the actors. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, it's not like a big deal. But then, yeah, I watched like 3 episodes of What If. I think I watched the first episode, and it was about like Captain Carter,
oh,
so I
that
wasn't
one is
into it.
boring.
Yeah,
I feel like they wasted their opportunities because, like, what if someone else took the mantle? Like, someone else already took the mantle. Sam is Captain America now.
exactly.
So, like, what does that even matter? Like, oh, what if a woman took the serum? Then she would just be strong. Like, I don't know. Like, y'all really wasted that. And then y'all put her in Doctor Strange. Like, you kidding me?
Very annoying.
You really had to, for what? And then, oh no, the way she died in Doctor Strange really, really got me. Like,
All of them.
no, but I think it was the way it was shot because the shield and the camera cut off right at the same point. I was like, I felt that in my stomach. I was like, oh no, oh
And
no.
I
On my rewatch, I had to close my eyes because I was like, not again. But it's like, why waste an opportunity of what if on just what if someone else took the serum? Like, the same thing would happen, and it did. Like, boring. I don't know. Like,
I heard that was like one of the only What If episodes that actually went like exactly like the movie too. So they didn't even do anything like creative with it.
no, they really did not. Like, I don't know.
But yeah, I saw that one and I saw the Doctor Strange one because I was warned that like his character in that would be like in the Multiverse of Madness movie, which was like with like the third eye strange, with like I still didn't understand that in the movie. So I don't think it even mattered. But I don't know, I just couldn't get into What If. I'll try eventually, like maybe when season 2 comes out.
Yeah, the Doctor Strange episode and the one of like what if Ultron won was like gut wrenching to me because like thinking about it, like pulling it into like the MCU, like if he had won, oh, we all would have been toast. Like that one was really, really interesting to me and like the direction they took it. But other ones were just like I don't care if Captain Carter, I don't care. Next.
But I would say my like for my Marvel show rankings, I think they changed like after WandaVision. WandaVision is like permanently my top one. Like I've watched it so many times that I probably could quote it. Like it's just like for one, like I like sitcoms a lot. So when everybody was complaining about it being too slow, like I literally did not care. Like it could have stayed a sitcom for like the whole show. And then it had like a mystery element. And because it was the first one, I feel like everyone was so invested in trying to like break it down. And that was like so fun, like watching all the like theories and breakdown YouTube videos after. So like they don't even really do that anymore. Like I don't watch it like that anymore.
Breakdowns are a must. After literally everything I watch, I'm like, YouTube, breakdown, Easter eggs. What did I
I
miss?
think for Moon Knight, that's important because I got confused so much during Moon Knight. But like She-Hulk and all that, I don't use it anymore. I would also say that I really like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think that's like I wouldn't say controversial, but I think a lot of people like hate on it. And I do think like now, like I recently tried to rewatch it and it just didn't like keep my interest. but like just looking at it from start to finish, it's like the only Marvel show that has a finale that I actually like. Like I hate like the finales of almost every Marvel show. I think they just never like stick the landing. But with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that was like the one that they actually did. And I also really like Moon Knight and Loki. I think Moon Knight had the best Marvel pilot episode out of all of them.
If you
And
don't like
Hawkeye
the
had the best
finales,
trailer.
maybe don't watch the She-Hulk finale. I don't know.
I don't
It,
know because I haven't even seen spoilers about it. So
it's interesting. It is. It fits She-Hulk as a character, like from the comics, but it also is just very like, where do we draw the line between MCU and breaking into like the actual world? Like it's getting too close for comfort. Like,
wait, I think I heard about something where it was like she was like talking to Kevin Feige in the show.
yeah, but it was like Kevin stands for something, so it was like a robot. I don't know.
What?
I'm just giving it away to you right now, so stop me if you think I'm going too far. But like, she like tore through the fourth wall and was like, "This is not how I want my finale to go." And then she like went on the Disney Plus like screen, the home screen for Marvel, and like swiped and like, "Oh, this looks interesting," and jumped into a different show.
What? Did she
And then,
jump into
like,
Daredevil?
well, she actually started doing that before Daredevil, like in the comics. So
Mhm.
it stemmed from her, and then like Daredevil, of course, breaks the fourth wall. It just sucks that, well, it doesn't suck, but it's unfortunate that Daredevil was produced for the screen first, because now everybody thinks she is copying like, not even Daredevil, LOL, not Daredevil, Deadpool. I got my D's mixed up.
Oh, I was like,
But
wait,
yeah,
Daredevil?
you know, everyone thinks that She-Hulk is copying Deadpool, which is not what's going on. But that aside, it's just because she's a woman. They're like, oh yeah, she's copying him. Actually, no, because she did it way before he was created. But okay, yeah, she like breaks through the comics a lot, like, and like gets into the writers' room and is like, this is wrong. This is not how this is supposed to go, and like tells them what to write for her and stuff. So they were taking like a page from that, but like putting it in the like with cameras and stuff. So they went to like production, and she went to production, was like, this is a bad finale. This
Oh,
is so stereotypical. Like, change it. So they, so I
I
don't know,
think I would like that
maybe
because
give that one a
Marvel
watch.
finales are bad.
And she pointed that out. She was like, of course, like, because like Bruce comes back to fight Abomination and all this stuff like happens. And like, she was like, I do not need my cousin to fight for me, first of all. Like,
Mm-mm.
why would he be back from Sakaar? Get him out of here. And was like telling everyone like, this is so stereotypical, and yeah, like telling him basically what the fans have been saying. Like, of course you want a animated fight at the end. Like, it was interesting.
I think that's cool, honestly. Like, I think She-Hulk is a show that, like, you just have to take it for what it is. It's, like, purposely, like, unserious. So, like, if you go in with that mindset, like, I think breaking the fourth wall is okay.
Yeah, it's so unserious to the point where Kevin was like, can you please transform back to Jennifer because we cannot afford more CGI.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
he
And
was
they
like,
said her CGI looks
yeah.
bad.
He was like, wait for the camera to pan away and then change back. And
She-Hulk
she did.
broccoli at law.
You're listening to Fan Fave with Katrina. Fan Fave with Katrina.
My next question is, do you have any Marvel hot take? Like a least favorite character, someone that you hate in the movies or shows, or like a movie that you don't like that everybody seems to like?
I mean, I think my hot take might be that I like Doctor Strange. I don't know. I feel like even though I know his faults, I don't know what draws me to him. Like, so that might be mine that I said earlier, that I love his movies and him, and I don't know, I really don't know why. Like, on paper I should not like him this much, but I don't know. It might be the acting behind it. Not sure. But that, and the fact that I can rewatch the first two Thor movies as well. There, I said it.
The
I said
first
it.
Thor is okay,
I
not
can
the
rewatch
second
the
one.
first two. I can and will.
I guess my biggest Marvel hot take is that I love Eternals. Eternal slander will never make sense to me. I think they did what they had to do. They were great characters, and I think it really explained like it added like value to like Thanos and his own actions and kind of understanding what's going on. I thought it was great and I loved it. um I guess another hot take would be that I don't enjoy the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, which is ironic because Guardians of the Galaxy is what got me into Marvel like properly. But every time I rewatch the first movie, I like it less, which is very unfortunate. But yeah, I think those are my hot takes. Yeah, I think those are the only two.
Definitely the Eternals is a hot take. And I literally sleep in an Eternal shirt like 2 times out of the week because it's so comfy. But I just don't know why. Like, and you're saying like it's necessary for Thanos. If you could go into that a little bit more, that would probably help me because I just don't understand where they fit. Like, they've always been here, but they can't interfere. Okay, cool. But like now, like they're not even human. Like, I don't know what. I was just confused. I felt. And like,
My
where do
biggest
they go from here? Like, I don't know.
my biggest interest with the Eternals is kind of like essentially I was really into philosophy when it came out, and it was just this idea of like free will versus like your actions are like predetermined, which I thought was really interesting, first of all. But then also like because like they can't what are the words? Because it kind of explained why Thanos destroyed half the population. Essentially, remember like with the rising
Oh,
of
because
the
if without the population, like then he wouldn't rise and destroy the whole planet.
exactly. So it was kind of necessary. Like
Put him
Thanos
on
kind of
pause. I said he kind of put him on pause from like
exactly. So like I feel like they connected them well in that sense because like and I don't know, they're also cute. I love a good like family dynamic and I'm
I
getting that
do.
from them.
Yeah, I liked the actor, especially now that we have like two deaf actors in the MCU. Like, I took ASL as a language in school, so like being able to like understand them without subtitles, I felt superior. I was like, yeah, I know this language. I know
I,
ASL. Yep. But I think the inclusion definitely is there, and I love all the actors, but I just don't like where are they gonna pop up again? Was it like
they're gonna pop
done or
they're gonna help fight King. I don't know.
I don't know? And then the whole thing at the end with the blade, like
I
okay,
thought that was very random. And I
I
think it
have
was
to do
just
my
kind of like
research on that.
I'm excited because I love a good like vampire thing. So like I don't know how they're
Oh
gonna include
yeah.
like, vampires in the MCU, but I'm excited for that, and I'm excited to see more of Kit Harington in the MCU and Mahershala Ali for the first time. I think it's gonna be great, but I do think like part of what keeps me interested in this is like the Eternals specifically is just as I said before, just the cast and the diversity of the cast. Like
Yeah.
they really like threw it in there, which is why I partially think people don't like it. Not everyone, but I do think partially what started the bad reviews was that, hey, we're seeing like lead women, we're seeing like people of color, we're seeing
Yeah, I can see
people
that.
with disabilities. You know what I mean? I think like it's just great. It's just you can't be angry while watching the Eternals.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's also just like where, like it kind of felt random. Like you said, like they threw a lot at us, but it like I like the cast, of course. Like well, you can't see me, but I am black, so I definitely felt more seen in getting more minority like on the big screen. But it's just like what, where, like right now they
we could argue the same for like every character. Like, what's the point of She-Hulk?
Yeah, and I was about to say with like the backlash from She-Hulk, I found it hilarious that like when they announced She-Hulk and like all the backlash of like the angry white men that are like, we don't need more women. They used all of that in She-Hulk. Like when people were like hating on her for the exact same reasons because they were like, oh, she doesn't deserve powers. She got them because of nepotism. It's like she was in a car crash. She almost died. Like she was trying to save Bruce Banner. Like, you're welcome. Like he was human and he had his like thing that kept him from becoming the Hulk. So he could have died. Like, you're welcome. She saved his life, but okay. And they used like all of the like comments from those people on Twitter and stuff, and they actually like screenshotted them and put them in the show. And I
loved that. It
like,
was literally great. Because people
comments.
are arguing, they're like, this is not how men act sometimes, but it's literally how men act sometimes.
Literally how they reacted to just them being like, yeah, we're gonna make She-Hulk. Everybody was like, no more women. Like, please. Like, she was literally more in control of herself than Bruce ever was. So let's go.
Exactly. They're mad about that. They're like, oh my gosh, women actually know how to control their emotions. We don't believe
literally do it every day. We literally do it every day.
Exactly.
So I thought that was nice of them to include, but we'll see where Jennifer Walters ends up. I don't know.
I would say that my hot takes, I feel like I have a lot of them, but like, I don't know if they're like really hot takes or not, but first,
I feel like you have the most hot takes I've ever, like, out of all the Marvel fans I've met, I feel like you definitely have the most hot takes where I'm like, girl, I don't even know about what you're saying.
I know, I'm about to start with like a big one. Okay, number one, I like Liz Allen more than MJ in Tom Holland's Spider-Man movie. Like, I wanted her to come back from Homecoming, and I think they would have brought her back, like, if Zendaya wasn't in the movies, like if it was just like a less popular actress. But I thought they had really great chemistry in Homecoming. My second hot take is that I don't care about bad CGI. Like, people will critique a Marvel movie and they'll be like, oh, it looks so bad. I'm literally like, I don't care. Like, it doesn't ruin the movie for me. And then also, I hate Doctor Strange.
Okay. That H word is very intense, Katrina.
He literally ruins everything. Like, Wanda, like Spider-Man. I mean, just Spider-Man. Like, he couldn't come up with a better spell. They had to forget him.
That
He just doesn't.
grinds my gears because there's like tens of thousands of videos on YouTube of everyone saying how they could have done literally anything else. So I will give you Spider-Man. I will give you that. But I think it'll make for his next movie to be so much more interesting of him having to like restart up and like now he's on his own. Like, that's really interesting. Like, him having to be Spider-Man, but like literally no one even knows him at all.
It's like a fresh reboot.
It's like he gets a fresh start, but how is he going to use that fresh start? I don't know.
Go to college, meet Gwen Stacy. Don't drop her though.
I feel like after you put my dad in jail, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna like you anymore. Sorry, Peter. Like, you were my homecoming date, and you put my dad in jail. Like, bye.
Well, her dad was a criminal, so she just needs to recognize that and come back.
But it's also like her dad, in her eyes, who have never, treated her like a princess, gave her everything she wanted, very protective, and it's like, boom, he's a criminal. It's like, what? Maybe he had his reasons. I don't know. Like, I feel like that would be so hard to come back from. I'm choosing.
Yeah, they're not getting together.
Yeah, I'm choosing this dude I like over my family, like my father, my literal father. But no,
he's still mad.
Really cute. Like, let me go over here. No, absolutely not. That doesn't make any sense. I wouldn't do it either. He would have to be Michael B. Jordan himself. I don't know.
I also will say, I don't think this is a hot take or more of a theory, but Steve Rogers isn't dead. He is on the moon. Like, he didn't die.
I can't. I kind of want him to be dead, though. We're done with that. Should go do his own thing.
I just want more Chris Evans, so they could bring him back somehow.
Chris Evans is tired of the MCU. Do you see how he looks anytime they ask him about it? That man is tired.
Remember his tweet where he was like, news to me?
Oh my god.
He can totally come back as his original role.
Exactly. In Fantastic Four.
Yup.
I think he should. When y'all said that,
yeah.
But I don't think he will, but he should.
They should bring him and Michael B. Jordan back.
He might be too
old. It can be variants.
Exactly.
Like, I feel like both had that role. Come on. Bring them both back.
I don't think Marvel's going to be able to like afford them all now at this point. I think Chris Evans is going to be he's going to be asking for like a hefty check now.
I'll go see the movie 10 times. He'll make it.
Oh my gosh.
You need to start a GoFundMe or something.
No, exactly at this point.
I really would like. He's like the one person that I would want to come back. Although, like, I would like to see another Andrew movie.
I would love another. Andrew needs to come back. We deserve Andrew back. I also want Aaron Taylor Johnson back.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's another hot take.
but
Aaron
no.
Taylor Johnson over Evan Peters.
You're so right for that.
Yeah. It was so weird. And it, because at that point I hadn't like watched all of the X-Men and like Wolverine and like all of those movies yet. So when he popped up on the screen, I was like, now who is this man? Like I had to go and like I had seen X-Men when I was like a child. So half my brain was like, he looks kind of familiar. I don't know who he is, but he looks kind of familiar. Because I don't watch scary stuff. So like American Horror Story, I have no idea what it's about. I'm not watching it. So everyone was like, oh my God, Evan Peters, Evan Peters. I'm like, who is this man? I don't know who this is. I know that's not her brother. I know that.
She recast Pietro.
That still doesn't make sense to me.
I think it's really
one thing
Pietro.
from WandaVision that does not make sense to me. Like, what is going on?
He's not Ralph Boner. He's Pietro. They just haven't revealed it yet. It was supposed to come in an upcoming movie.
I hope so, because after everything Evan Peters has been through, he needs to just be a superhero. I don't know. Like, give that man a break.
No, literally.
Let him just run fast again. Like,
no, exactly.
Or slow motion, how they film his.
Oh my gosh.
I just can't believe they let Aaron Taylor Johnson go like that. Like, how are you the fastest person running around here and you get killed by a gunshot?
No,
like,
literally.
Didn't you see it coming?
Justice for Aaron Taylor Johnson. Oh my God. I'm so mad about that. Like, what was the point? They should have just not introduced him. Like, I'm mad.
Exactly.
I remember, like, I was devastated. I didn't know this character for more than like 40 minutes, but like the pain I went through when he died, it was real. It was real.
It was the beginning of Wanda's trauma story.
It was the beginning of my trauma story.
I just thought about another hot take, and look, don't yell at me, but okay, maybe it's not a hot take, but maybe my look on it is the one that they tried to replace Captain America with in the beginning of Falcon and Winter Soldier. I don't forgot his name because he's just so irrelevant to me.
Oh,
he absolutely needs to be recast or something. I don't know what it is about him, but it infuriates me. It's not because everyone's like, oh, everyone hates him because he's doing such a good job with the role. No, I just don't like him. Like, anything he does would make me mad. But like his character in that whole thing, like he was pissing me off. I'm gonna say it. He was pissing.
I feel that.
But if you liked John Walker, then that would be bad because the whole point is to make you like Sam.
No, I think
So
they did it on
you can't
purpose.
like him.
They want you to. They did it on purpose. They want you to not like this guy. Like they were like no one.
I don't know, and I guess I'm gonna have to see where it goes to with the where the group, with the Thunderbolts and the new group and everything. But it's like from like writing a villain, it has to be complex. And I'm gonna go out of Marvel for 2 seconds. Klaus Michelson will forever have a place in my heart.
Say that louder. Say it louder.
Has literally slaughtered thousands of people, but like in the end, I don't know.
You're so right.
I'm gonna forgive him for everything he did. I don't know.
You're so right.
And he a father. Like, I'm gonna forgive him. I'm gonna forgive him because his writing was so good and so complex as a character. It's like, yes, he's a villain, but he has his reasons. But also, why is he killing so many people? But it's like with John Walker, it's like you just went crazy and killed somebody in front of the whole world, and for what?
I know. I don't think John Walker is like purposely being portrayed as a villain. I think he's being portrayed as like an antithesis of Steve Rogers more so. I don't think they're trying to be like, this is the villain, you know? Does that make sense? Because like there's nothing about him that screams like he's just annoying. He's just like annoying. Yeah. And like he murdered someone, but I don't think it was like he murdered someone, therefore he's a villain. I think it was he murdered someone, so he's not Steve Rogers and he'll never be.
How did he not get locked up for that? Like,
no, right?
Are you kidding me? The white privilege has jumped out.
No, literally.
You cut somebody in half on
the shield
on Instagram Live. Like, what are you doing?
It was crazy. Like, I had to pause. I had to stand up when that scene happened. I had to get out of the room. I was heated. And like, I think it's solely casting for me because I just know if they cast a pretty man, it might have been
torn. I would
have been like, maybe it's justified, but they didn't do that.
I would have been so conflicted and I would have been torn. And I feel like that's more so what I would want to feel with this character, but I just don't because he just is annoying. Like,
I like his little sidekick though, Battlestar. And then
He
they
annoyed
killed
me
him.
too.
Really? I
Just
liked
because of
him.
association. Anyone with association with John Walker was
They
annoying
both
me.
should have
Like
flew
his
off that train.
fiance staying with him. Like, aren't you
Oh,
embarrassed?
she was
Did you just see
annoying.
him kill
Are
someone?
you
Are you
not
not?
embarrassed?
She was standing by him in court, like, oh, like,
Are
let's go
you
talk to
not
this lady.
embarrassed?
She's better than me because I would have left.
That would have been the headlines in the news. Not even that he killed somebody. Divorce.
No.
He has been divorced. He's no longer a married man. Like, I don't know. Everything about his character, his face, everything just annoys me about him. So I guess I'm gonna just have to see where they take him writing wise. Because if he has a compelling story, maybe I can be like, okay, he's a character, but I'm not even acknowledging him as a character in the MCU right now. Like, he just doesn't exist to me.
He's forgettable. Like, there's nothing
It is.
about him. Like, he's the reason I was so excited for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And, like, it's probably the show I've rewatched the least because I'm just, like, so
I
done with
cannot see his
film.
face.
No, literally, like, it just pisses me off. And it sucks because, like, Bucky Barnes is my favorite character. So, obviously, I want to rewatch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but I can't.
Yeah, and I feel like they should have changed the title completely instead of at the end when they put Captain America and the Winter Soldier. They should have put Captain America and the White Wolf or something. I don't know, like
Yes, wait.
Captain America and Bucky Barnes. Like that.
You're
should
so
been,
big brain for that.
That should have been the end. Like if you're gonna change one name, you're gonna have to change the other. He'd have been to therapy now. Let him go. He is.
Yeah, I thought that they were gonna do that like with like a season 2 of the show because like season 1 it really focused on like Sam's development into becoming Captain America. So I felt like Bucky should have gotten like his own because they didn't really. I mean, they focused on him with like the therapy storyline, but like not enough.
We had that whole storyline of him.
That man went to therapy 2 times.
That son and him getting close with the father and having to tell now his friend that, oh, by the way, I was the one who shot your son. Like going through all of that, making his amends, going to therapy, like being able, you've seen that like, oh, my arm can come off. Like they put that in because they don't trust me. Like, oh, what do I do with that? Like he had a lot of growth within that show to the point where he is no longer the Winter Soldier. Like he just isn't. He's Bucky. Like they should have swapped him out. He's not the Winter Soldier anymore. He does not associate with that title.
He is better now.
Yeah, Wakanda got him halfway, 70% fixed, I'd say.
My last question is, what is your most anticipated, like, upcoming Marvel movie or show? Or, like, characters that you're looking forward to seeing more of?
Just, there's so many, like, coming in. I'm excited to see what they do with the Young Avengers, I will say. I don't know what the Young Avengers big bad will be. Because I would hope by then Kang will be defeated and that we would have moved on by the time they actually get everybody in enough that everyone has a little storyline and it makes sense for the Young Avengers to like team up and take over or whatever. But it's like, that's going to take some years and years down the line. But I am excited to see where they go with that. And I hope that they don't just like make everyone mini-me's of the original 6 or even like the expanded Avengers. Like I hope that they have their own personalities and are different, but you can see like similarities. So it's kind of like blink and you'll miss it moments where it's like, oh, Sam used to do that, and now like Bradley, like things like that, or like, oh, that's what Hawkeye used to do, and now Kate does it. Like they taken over the mantle. So I guess them most likely, yeah. And I really want to know where Moon Knight is going to fit in. Because what is going on there?
There is so much I'm excited for. Like, I think we could sit here for days talking about every single thing, but I think the biggest thing I'm excited for is the Marvels. I freaking love Carol Danvers. I love Brie Larson. I love Miss Marvel. I just think I love Rambeau. All these characters, they're so great. And also the cast is amazing. Like, I'm excited to see Zawe Ashton in, playing a villain. I'm excited. She was great in her play, so this is going to be even better. I think it's going to be great. I'm also really excited for Quantumania. I will say Ant-Man isn't like my favorite. Like the movies are up there, but like they're not my favorite. But what really gets me is that like Jonathan Majors is such a good actor. Like him as Kang, and I just want to see more of Kang, and I'm like, ugh. Every once in a while, I root for the villain, controversially. And then I guess another thing I'm excited for is Ironheart. I was a huge Ironheart fan when I was in high school, so I'm really excited to see that series. I believe it's a series. Yeah, it's a series whenever it comes out. And like Riri Williams is already going to be in Black Panther, so I'm excited to
Yeah.
see her already.
That's
So I think
right.
it's going to be, I'm excited for everything, is my point.
I will say I'm excited to see more of Monica, for two reasons. And one of them is kind of stupid, but my favorite color is blue, and like everything I have is blue. So I try to align my merch with like who I like with blue, and her powers are blue. So I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of merch out of her character. When it like she finally gets her like full suit and things, and like just even her with her eyes lighting up. Like I would pay so much money for a shirt with just her hair like in full afro, and then like her eyes blue like lighting up on the shirt. Like I would pay such good money for that. But also I'm just excited to see what she does with her new powers and stuff, and like her mom being connected to Captain Marvel, and like it felt like they had a little, I don't know. So when the Marvels comes out, I'm definitely excited to see that. I forgot that that was coming out, but my friend Brian will not let me forget. So if he hears this, he's gonna be mad at me. But yeah, I have a Marvel, like a Monica pin on my backpack, and it's like blue and white, and it says sword. So I'm excited for to see her, and like what the beef is with Captain Marvel. Like what happened there?
Literally, I'm so excited for the Marvels too. I just feel like that's such a great like team up. Like I'm really excited about Monica. Anything that came out of WandaVision, like I just want to see more from. So I just can't wait for that to come out. I will finish Miss Marvel before it does too. I'll also say like Ant-Man Quantumania, obviously, because Ant-Man is my favorite character. But I'm like half excited for it and half not, because like I don't know what his fate is gonna be. Like Kang is like really bad villain, and like he's supposed to be like showing up like more and more after this. So I'm like, what does that mean for Ant-Man? Like I know he probably can't like die in his own movie, but like I still feel like things will end up pretty bad for like that whole story.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's gonna be like Infinity War, where it's like an open-ended, like he kind of lost or like barely escaped Kang or something, and now they are just like, well, what do we do now? Like type of situation, like Infinity War. But if they keep doing that, I'm gonna be mad, because I feel like Kang is gonna keep popping up, or like variants of Kang and He Who Remains is gonna be popping up in like movies and in credit, mid credit scenes and stuff like that. So if they keep like not defeating him, not defeating him, not defeating him, and it's like 6 movies, then I'm gonna be like, okay, someone has to kill this dude. Who? Some like pick one. I don't know.
I can see them like getting stuck in like the quantum realm or something at the end of Ant-Man, like because of Kang, and then like nobody knows they're down there and they have to like figure their way out before like the Avengers movie, which is literally what happened to Ant-Man like before Endgame. Like a rat got him out or something.
Yeah, I feel like Kang might get stuck or something. Like his plan might backfire, and like because they're like outnumbered. I mean, he might have an army down there. I don't know, but at least like family sticking together. Like that's been one of the themes of Ant-Man. So I'm hoping that will like bleed into like, oh, we've outsmarted you as a team. You don't have a team, and then they like escape like barely. And then they're like, okay, we got to warn everyone. We got to warn everyone what's down there and who's down there and what's going on. And then like run to, I don't even know who they would run to. Probably Doctor Strange. He's the only one on Earth I can think of.
I hope not, because he'll mess
They
it
gotta
up.
they gotta alert somebody. Maybe the call. I don't know. Call Wakanda or something. I don't know. Get some help.
Loki.
They gonna have to call in somebody. Is that that line that they had still open? That channel from Endgame now? Y'all gonna have to resurface that channel where everybody was meeting once a month.
Oh yeah,
And
the
Man is
little
gonna need
video
some help.
call. I'm also really excited for Captain America, but I also really like Danny Ramirez. He's one of my favorite NYU alumni because he went to Tandon. Even though he transferred, he still went to Tandon for a little bit. So like I respect that. And he was, I don't know if you remember, but he was Torres and the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and so I think he's gonna be like the next Falcon.
Oh yeah.
So I want to see
Yeah,
what happens with that.
Absolutely.
And also Daredevil, which I beat Timmy to saying.
I hate you for that because, like, there's, you know why, but I mean, whatever. I'm excited. I was gonna say Echo just because Daredevil's gonna be in there. I'm literally just anything with Charlie Cox's face on it, I'm excited for.
Yeah,
Even if
and
it's a cool
Daredevil-
voiceover.
I'm
What?
gonna watch it. It's on my list. Daredevil's on my list. I want to watch
You
the
haven't seen it
original.
either?
I want to watch the original before I watch like his new stuff, like him joining the MCU. And yes, I know I felt so bad because in Spider-Man, everybody, when I say my entire theater was like screaming, running up and down the aisles, and I was sitting there and I was watching it with my friend Brian, and I looked over to him. I was like, "Who is this white man?" he just patted my hand. He was like, "Oh, baby." I was like, "Oh,
No, you
sorry."
need to watch Daredevil. It's literally the best Marvel show.
I am.
You
I don't
can watch
really
it, but
have time to watch shows like during the semester, so I'll probably start it during winter break because it's 3 seasons, right? Or 2?
Yeah, 3.
And I don't have time.
But then you have to watch Defenders also, so.
Oh my god.
I don't think you have to watch Daredevil.
No, you don't
before
have
the
to,
new
but like,
Daredevil comes
you
out.
do a little Defenders like summary before you watch season 3 of Daredevil.
Yeah. I know I don't have to because they're giving him his own show, but I just feel like I need to watch the original first so I can compare.
Exactly. And I already know, I'm gonna tell you now, the original is gonna be better. Like, there's no way the original.
I don't know. A lot of people were saying his fighting style was different when they saw him in She-Hulk.
It was, yeah.
And it's more like acrobatic, kind of like how he is in the comics.
Yeah.
I went back and like read a few, but it's like, yeah, I feel like the version of him Kevin Feige is in charge of is a little bit more comic accurate. So I want to see like what the other version of Daredevil was like.
He is very brutal. They're all very brutal.
He's like, I think it's a lot darker than other Marvel shows. Probably the most comparable to Moon Knight.
It's worse than Moon Knight.
It's definitely worse than Moon Knight, but it's like the most comparable, I think. I think it's just because like, it's good is all I can say. Like, I could talk it up for days. It's so good.
Do you guys have any like fan casting for like the upcoming Fantastic Four movie?
Other than Chris Evans and Michael B. Jordan, I don't know.
I want John Krasinski back.
I do. I feel like we didn't like, and I feel like a lot of people are saying Kevin put him in just to see our reaction. And now a lot of people are split 50-50 of like, oh, never mind. Or like, oh, but I feel like he didn't get enough time to really show us what he can do with the character to even decide like continue or like find somebody else. So I feel like I do want to see him. I feel like he fits Mr. Frank. Like, I don't know who his wife and children would be, but yeah, I definitely want one of the originals to come back. So Michael B. Jordan, if you're free, I don't know.
Hopefully he's in the new Black Panther. He's gonna come back.
Yeah. I haven't really thought about my fan cast for Fantastic Four or anything like that. I feel like they do pretty good with the casting. With a little nudge from us, I definitely was hoping for Haley Steinfeld to be Kate Bishop, and thanks to the pandemic and her schedule and stuff, like she was able to, which I think fits so well. Like that character and her fit so well together. And I do like Mr. Fantastic being John. But other than that, like I haven't really seen anyone where I'm like, oh my God, they would be such a good the thing. Like, I don't know.
I'm not normally one who thinks about casting. I think the last time I did that was for Spider-Man before Tom Holland was cast. And other than that, I feel like Marvel doesn't disappoint. Like, I think the recent castings have been great. Like, Iman Vellani, she's great. I think, like, Haley Steinfeld was fantastic. I think Florence Pugh is great. I love all the recent castings, so I'm sure whoever they choose will be great. I'm pretty sure I heard something about some Outer Banks character, people wanting him cast. I don't even know who they wanted him.
Oh, yeah.
Is it JJ? Is that his name?
Rudy?
I've never seen Outer Banks, so I have no idea.
It is. And they were saying him for Human Torch.
I don't even know what he looks like, but I mean, people are adamant about it. The best, like, Marvel actor in an action movie would be Snowpiercer with Chris Evans. That is my favorite movie of all time. It's so good.
I like The Gray Man. I think that was made for me because it has my favorite Chris and my favorite Ryan.
I thought I was going to watch that too, and then it came out and I completely forgot that it was a thing. Haven't seen it.
It was good.
It's good.
They're going to make a sequel or like a show or something, but it's only going to have Ryan Gosling.
See, because these companies can't afford Chris Evans anymore.
You know why? You know why Chris Evans isn't in it.
I mean, I know why, but that's my excuse. It's that they can't afford him, which is why he's not going to be in Fantastic Four.
You think they can afford Ryan Gosling and not Chris Evans?
I think they could definitely afford Ryan Gosling over Chris Evans. What's Ryan Gosling in recently? All he's got is like Barbie on his plate now.
Crazy Stupid Love.
That's old. That doesn't even count.
It will be in the history books. That movie is legendary. It has the best plot twist of all time.
I have not seen that movie in a long time because now I'm thinking, I'm like, what was the twist?
I will admit that caught me off guard.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
Well, do you have any other last thoughts about anything Marvel related?
I don't know. Cast me.
No, literally.
Cast me, but not with fake thing. Like, I don't think I could be in a scene with Groot. Don't do that to me, please. Or Rocket. Don't do that to me. Don't make me look at a puppet. I don't know how they do that. If I'm being completely honest, no idea. Or Thanos.
If you could be in any like Marvel like show or movie or a specific character, who would you want to be?
Maybe I can play Monica's cousin. I don't know. It's harder because it's like, who is black already that I can like be their sister or cousin?
They don't have to be black. You could make them black.
I mean, yeah, they want Keke Palmer to be Rogue.
I'd be Elektra from Daredevil, so I could make out with Charlie Cox. Problem solved. But like realistically, I would be Ironheart because like I love that character so much, which is ironic because I'm not even an Iron Man fan, and Ironheart's like in that realm of being like an Iron Man fan, and like that's very opposite of me. But I love her character, so that's what I would be.
I don't know. I feel like I'm very versatile, as long as I'm not working with a puppet. I don't know.
Exactly, I feel that.
Those behind the scenes videos, like I don't think I could take myself seriously. I would
No,
really have to be in my acting bag. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I feel like the check is going to be like Zoe Saldana. She's making money, so I mean, I do what I have to do.
Also, yeah, it would be weird working with a lot of prosthetics too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That kind of limits me. Anyone will throw me in there, and I will deliver.
I used to want to like be maybe in like a Spider-Man, like one of the high schoolers. I feel like valid for like my age, you know? Let me be like one of the people on like the morning announcements or something. But now that like that era of Spider-Man is over, I would do Loki. I would do Ant-Man. Just whatever would get me on a show or movie with my favorite actors.
That's what
I
I'm
would fight
saying.
Wanda. I would like to take Wanda down. All I have to do is distract her with her kids.
No,
And then she go running.
oh my gosh. Transform yourself into one of her kids. And then, like, if you attack her, she's not going to attack you back because she's going to be like, oh, this is the face of my child.
I could do Moon Knight because I like fight training.
Like,
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like fight training would be fun, so Moon Knight would probably be good for me too. Maybe no one that flies.
That's all for today. Thank you so much to Shakara and Toomey for a fun conversation about Marvel. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for listening to Fan Fave. You can stay up to date by following at Fan Fave Media on all social media platforms where I post vlogs from my adventures in the entertainment world, film and TV reviews, and reactions and breakdowns to the latest in pop culture news. As a reminder, this is a bi-weekly podcast, so I will see you in 2 weeks. But remember, I want to hear from you, so stay tuned for upcoming opportunities to have your opinion heard right here on the Fan Fave podcast. See you soon.